So what's the connection between food and social cohesion? I think food brings people together. If you're sitting down with someone, doesn't matter where they're from, doesn't matter what their background, doesn't matter what their race, religion, occupation, 5-10 minutes over a meal and that's just another person. And you find out pretty quickly that we're all the same, that we have far more in common than would ever divide us. Food brings us together like that and it is beautiful. Taste Tours creates those meaningful human connections between people that build and strengthen communities.
So my name is Leslie Unsworth. I'm the founder and CEO of Taste Cultural Food Tours. Taste Cultural Food Tours was born 3 years ago. The project came about, it started originally in Bankstown, and it was a project to build connections across cultures. The heart of Taste Tours is the weekend tours in the suburbs. You know, we can do a trip around the world in the western suburbs of Sydney, and that's a lot of fun.
So guys, welcome to Cabramatta, welcome to 2166. Welcome to Taste of Vietnam, that's the name of this tour. I'll be your tour guide today. My name's Patrick. Call me anything, just don't call me late for dinner. So when I first started getting trained for this job, Taste Food Tours, one, I had no idea what a food tour was. I mean, the idea of having a food tour in Cabramatta, I mean, what is that? I mean, when you're a local and grew up in Cabramatta for 20 years, it's like, why do you want to come to Cabramatta to come eat? So when I started becoming a food tour guide, I realised that it was that Taste Food Tours is a social enterprise and charity, and I realised that this is great. They're training refugees and migrants to become food tour guides. It makes sense because each suburb has their own ethnic enclave or refugee intake. The way I like to run it is just like as if I were taking my family or friends out for lunch or dinner. Along the way, I might explain a few things like why there's so many fabric shops in Cabramatta. And the tour goes for about 3 to 4 hours.
Because Patrick, he worked in Tasty Tour, so I'm quite interested because I work in pharmacy almost 20 years, so it's quite bored. And he recommended me to join his tour and Tasty Tour, so that's quite interesting. You can talk to people, and yeah, I can learn more.
Leslie came by one day to have lunch and she enjoyed the food that we had, and she asked if I'd be interested in helping out with some of Taste Tours. It was pretty much to share our food, our cuisine, our culture also with the rest of Sydney, and that was Leslie's pitch to me, and I was more than happy to help to get the word out, not just our food but also our culture and our way of life. It gives us a chance to tell our story as well, and then also probably get a deeper insight on our food and once again our operation. So it's a win-win for both.
Through tour guiding, they get to learn skills like speaking in public, problem solving, research, scripting, managing groups of people. People join the program, they'll go to TAFE and do a couple of tours to see if they want to continue, and that's volunteer work, or volunteer to go and get that qualification. But once they start doing working as a support guide, it's all paid work, and so that can genuinely be work that they can put on a resume and that we can provide a reference for.
I didn't have any experience as well, so Leslie just took me in, someone who doesn't have any experience, and trained me.
They basically teach us the skills that we will use in this career and challenges we might face, how to overcome these challenges. So this is a great chance for me to have a good job and to meet nice people. Believe me, you start each tour with the strangers, but at the end of the day, you'll find it really hard to say goodbye and you feel like they are part of your family, and this is what happened each tour.
So the reason I choose Maryland is it's a good place for me to live, and my community, they are living in Maryland as well. I feel more belong when I live in Maryland. We can find different type of groceries in here, Persian, Afghani, Turkish grocery in Maryland. Maryland have a variety type of restaurants.
Yeah, definitely. There were lots of benefits because they're introducing us to people that are from east of the Sydney, from far away from here. They have no idea about Iranian food. They're introducing our food, Persian cuisine. Definitely, it's very helpful for us, and it had benefit for us. Yeah.
Actually, since I work with Taste, I discover my true self. What do I mean by true self is, before I was so scared to tell someone if I was an asylum seeker or I'm an asylum seeker when I come to Australia. So I always hide my identity. I never tell anyone who actually am I. I'm confident to tell everyone about my story. And the majority of customers that came to my tour, they're so welcoming. And the other, I remember one of the quotes that my customer told me is, by you sharing your story, it actually makes us to understand who actually refugees are and who actually asylum seekers are.
You can't imagine how interesting this tour is. It is bringing people to Western Sydney, introducing them to these cultures and these communities that there is some negative media perception about Western Sydney and certain kinds of cultures or communities.
I've seen the Australian community attitude change a lot as we become more multicultural, to accepting ourselves as a multicultural nation. And so we play a part in that.
I have this little thing I like to say that food is the gateway drug to social cohesion, and let's face it, in any fast-growing immigrant population, the most important thing we need is social cohesion, and food is that bridge for that, because we all have to eat, we all love food, and it's the most non-threatening, delicious way to create social cohesion.
What Taste does is complex, and it works on many levels. You've got the primary social mission, which is the opportunities and the training. Plus you've also got the cultural exchange and interface that she does. And you look at the way it transforms them over time, and it is also wonderful. You see people open up and they blossom and they flower, and it's just wonderful.
Social cohesion is a really important underlying principle for Taste Tours. It's very much about that. So we may look to the world like a food tour company, but really at the heart of what we're doing is trying to tell a story about ourselves as a multicultural nation, and through that celebrate diversity, celebrate multiculturalism, which is what drives cohesion. When people see diversity as an asset, and that they can make a connection with a person across cultures, that we're all human, we all have a heart and a soul and a mind, and there's a way to make a connection with people no matter who they are.